the same thing I was doing in chess, teaching those grade 10 learners who are stuck. What if we could give these learners access to any teacher across the country, such that even if your teacher is bad at your school, you can access another teacher? So because I was doing computer science, I was thinking, okay, the solution to that is a platform. Not a platform that will allow teachers to have classrooms and learners to be able to access this. But another thing as well.
Why are you so passionate of finding solutions for the educational sector?
It is absolutely important. It's a thing that must happen. We cannot continue going on this way. People have been complaining for over 8 years now. Education, but they're not doing anything. They're just talking, education. Number two, you're only as smart as the 5 people around you. Unfortunately, the education system is not good, and what you see is across even your friends. People are not really smart. Someone needs to be not just to remember stuff. He needs to understand stuff, to apply, to analyze, to evaluate, and to create. So now creating is the highest level of achievement, or someone who is able to create stuff is an expert. Now you need people to be at that level. Now most of the people in our peers are just understand if they are lucky. They just understand stuff or actually remember stuff. They just remember stuff. This then gives us the opportunity to make every kid around us smart. Not dependent on whether the teacher is good or interested or not, or whether the textbook is clearly explaining stuff, but this AI can be able to make each child smart.
Welcome to YYeni Impact podcast, where we celebrate the incredible young people who are changing the world one community at a time. Each episode, I will be interviewing the next generation of change makers just to explore their stories, their insights and achievements. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for you to be notified whenever we release an episode. This is the YYeni Impact podcast, and I'm your host, Elizabeth Chilume.
So Vitalis, what do you think is the most important thing that I have to know about your early years and your upbringing for me to understand the person that you are today?
Like I said, I failed grade 2, grew up in Lodrats. I was sent to the hostel because we were misbehaving.
Okay, back at home.
Back at home. I stole stuff, sweets, bicycles, just like the rest of the kids in Lodrats. We went to swim in the sea when they said we were not allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I grew up. I didn't know how to read until I was grade 4. I wasn't academically the best performer. Until grade 6. I got my first diploma in grade 6 in natural science. And then I moved to the hostel in grade 6 to chess, not where I met you.
Okay. I see. So because you were sent to chess because you were misbehaving back at home.
Yeah.
Okay, great fun. Okay, so that's
one part of it.
Ne? One part of it.
There were other parts. But I think my mom couldn't afford us being at home.
Okay.
That was a large part of it. And I suppose her excuse was I was misbehaving.
That's very true, and I think that's like the most common reasons why most of the kids are sent to the hostel, because it's very expensive. I think that's also one of the reasons I was actually sent to the hostel, because it was very expensive going to school from home and all that. But yeah, okay. Coming back now to the person that you are today, because your early child is really opposite to the person that you are today. Can you just tell us your years? Your years coming to chess, what is maybe something that triggered you to kind of change, like when your academics and all that? And yeah, just tell us about your life being in chess in the South, actually growing up in the South, schooling in the South, and then your academic years and all that.
I had a discussion with my co-founder and the other CEO of Leokano yesterday. People who knew me from Lodrats and those who knew me from chess, they know an absolutely different version of who I am. And I'm always conflicted when I meet the people I met in Lodrats. I sort of get confused of how I should behave because now I'm used to being, I don't know, trying to be a good person, I guess. What triggered the change? Well, when I got my first diploma in grade 6, by that grade 6 year, that's when I really got into wanting to perform good, I guess. There was a specific teacher who was encouraging me to do so, because he apparently saw some potential. And so that year I was absolutely doing good. I will answer any question the teacher asks in the classroom. Like any question, I know the topic before ahead. But then it ended out that I only got one diploma. I was expected to get all the diplomas. I still didn't know what really happened. I still don't know what the teachers were looking at if I want a diploma. So they were looking at marks and tests and stuff like that, but I was the one who was answering questions in the class and whatnot. So I was expecting to get all the diplomas. But then the day they announced people were gonna get, I actually went home crying. Yeah.
Wow.
So then I decided that I need to do good. And so when I went to chess, all I thought was, seems like it's a new life, new redemption or something. I have a chance to shape who I want to be and who people see me as. And so, yeah, I started just repeating the same stuff I was doing at academically in my grade 6 year, which is reading way ahead before the teacher. So every time going to the class, I actually know the definitions and explanations of all the concepts before that. And it was just interesting. So then I kept doing that. Yeah, that's academic side. Because I got a diploma in natural science, I guess, I was absolutely interested in science.
In science, yeah.
So I got to do science fair. I got 7 years, and I was still good in science, natural science, particularly grade 7. And so I was absolutely passionate about that. And so I thought, okay, I'm a scientist, so I should do science fair. Because I'm answering all the questions in the class.
In the class.
I'm the one who knows science, so I should create some creative science project. So I did a project called Does Temperature Affect Magnet Strength? I lost, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Then from then on I kept on doing science fair year after year, and that I think is what molded me into what I am today. Should I speak about science fair?
Yeah, you can definitely do that, because that is also one of your biggest achievements as well from your early year.
So grade 7 I do science fair, I lost because I was absolutely arrogant, probably, I guess, because I thought I was answering all the questions in the class. I'm like, I'm the goat of science. So I was already telling people, when I come back, I'm coming back with a laptop, because they give me laptops and science. I don't even know how science fair works. So I go there. It's absolutely an amazing opportunity. We thought you were going to be pitching and standing up on the stage and pitching to people, but it was around your own tables and presenting your own ideas and stuff like that. It was absolutely inspiring. And so from then on, year after year, I kept on going. Grade 8, I did another project creating a mosquito spray. The following year, grade 9, I created the mosquito spiders and flies insecticide. The following year, I investigated building a cost-effective solution for the Austin-Ludrets railway line. So in Austin-Ludrets, there's sand covered there, so I built a solution around that. Then the following year, I built a solution to reduce death rates in car accidents. So across those different years, so I did some projects in the biologies, grade 8, 9, and then 10 and 11 were sort of engineering projects where I learned how to program. And I got to participate in the international science fairs and went to South Africa. And what we saw there was absolutely inspiring. So it's a lot of kids just working on computer science projects, programming stuff, building security stuff, and that was absolutely mind-blowing. Although we didn't have, IT it's still not a thing in Namibia today. In Namibian schools, they don't know what the hell is programming, most of the kids. But that was absolutely inspiring. So I came back and I was trying to find something that integrates the technology. And so I saw the opportunity, which is during that time, that's 2018, 2017, there's a lot of road accidents happening in December. And so I sort of tried to build something that will reduce death accidents. To do that, let me just quickly run through it. I always talk about it.
Yeah, please, we'd love to know about it.
So, in order to reduce death rates in car accidents, I needed to figure out what causes death rates in car accidents. So that will be pressure, the occurrence of fire, and then pressure, the occurrence of fire. What was the other thing? Yeah, pressure and the occurrence of fire is causing death rates in car accidents. Pressure when the car bumps, it's causing pressure, people are squeezed. And then fire occurs and people are burned if they're not squeezed. So then I needed to find ways to first detect that an accident has taken place. So I needed to program this computer brain that will send out sound waves and measure the distance between the cars, measure the speed at which the objects are approaching, measure the size. And then because we had this data, we could decide if the size is this much, if the distance is this much, if the speed of this object is this much, then definitely an accident will take place. So now we know when the accident is taking place. So now we have to implement measures that will ensure that we reduce the pressure the car is experiencing during an accident and prevent fire from occurring. To do that, I went back to the basics of physics. Pressure, the larger the surface area on which the pressure is acting, the less the pressure. So if you increase the surface area on which the pressure is acting, then the pressure will be spread out. So all I had to do was create something that will ensure that the size of the car is increased. So the surface area on which the car will bump is increased. So I did something like a inspired by the tortoise. So if you hit the tortoise, it will go back into a shell. So I put shields on top of a minibus.
Okay.
And then I also try to use exterior airbags. So airbags usually go inside, but I wanted airbags to go outside the car.
Outside.
So then there's a shield coming on top, there's an airbag coming out. And so then the area on which the pressure is acting, the car that is bumping it is increased. That reduces the pressure. And then we put carbon dioxide extinguishers on the side of the engine. Those are released for fire to take place. This is now going absolutely to not this type, I guess. So for a fire to take place, there needs to be heat, there needs to be oxygen, and there needs to be fuel. Now because we covered the car, it's already hot, the engine is already hot, so you can't remove the heat. The fuel is already on the side of the engine, so you can't get rid of the fuel. What you can try and get rid of is the carbon dioxide. So to do that, then we just release, not the oxygen.
The oxygen.
Yeah, to do that, then we have to just use a carbon dioxide extinguisher to eliminate the oxygen. And then that was the theory of how we'll reduce death rates in car accidents. So I won a gold medal with that in South Africa, and a silver medal at the International Science Fair, and then a gold medal in Namibia, our laptop. Yeah, so I learned how to program during that time.
During that time, I see. So that's where your inspiration actually came from. But how far did the project actually, like, was there somebody who took it further, or did you get an opportunity to actually, like, kind of implement it, or not really, like, implement it, but just,
When you look at it in hindsight, it's actually a bullshit idea. It's just some science fiction in the real world that will not work.
It will not work.
Yeah, absolutely. Mercedes-Benz or these guys, Toyota, they have explored all this. Actually, I read one of the research papers when I was doing this. I think one of the companies had tried something like that. Even exterior airbags. It's not something that came out of my hand. I read some research papers, and then there was some who were exploring the idea of putting exterior airbags outside. So I sort of just read this stuff and put them all together. But in actuality, feasibility, it doesn't make sense. So there was no need. I remember when I was grade 11, I was apparently angry that no one came to help me implement this in the real world. When I think better, it's dumb shit.
And it will even like be expensive, like totally expensive, and then it will even change the physical appearance of a car.
That's correct.
And all the,
you know what I was thinking, how we'll implement it? So all the government will put up a law, all the minibuses and buses must come to this specific garage where we've now altered the appearance of the car so that we make sure now all the people who are traveling from Woodred to the north are moving in these buses and are safe. So my idea was to set up a garage and something that we plug on these buses, the system that will now keep it safe. Yeah, sounds totally nonsense. And then they were supposed to pay for it now. The minibuses owners were supposed to pay for it.
We're supposed to pay for it?
Yeah, so this was because it's supposed to make their buses safe. That's totally nonsense. But it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It actually, like, I think, like, okay, is it,
But one of the key things I think is, what I learned across all those years is the idea of iteration, and that you actually don't know the answer yet beforehand. But what you need to do is, as long as you have a problem defined, if you persist with the problem long enough, read more research, talk to people, actually talk to more people, because I used to talk to a lot of engineers and experts in the field. I engage with them. And if you talk to more people, you get more help. And the people who actually help you much better are the ones who criticize your ideas. Like, they don't care whether you're a kid. Like, they won't tell you, like, oh, that's a good idea. You're doing good. Oh, you're so smart. Like, no, they'll just tell you, no, that's dumb. You should probably not do this. And that's not gonna work. Those are the advice that were much more helpful. But I learned from that time on is iteration, which is what I still keep today, and persistence. Now, I remember almost every year I did science fair, I used to cry the year, just maybe 2 weeks before that. It was crazy. I usually use my USB or something because my project files are all in there. Or my things are just not working. Everything I was trying to plan, it's just not working. The model is not working. So I learned from that very early on. And I look at it in hindsight and say, okay, actually I didn't know this was going to end up here. But when I look back in hindsight, I didn't know that this would be an ideal solution. Because I always had a basic solution. But when you talk to more people, you sort of end up onto that, and you get criticism, and you find solutions to that criticism, and that eventually ends up in the solution. Yeah. So it's the same concept we carry out day to day at YYeni. We don't know the answer, but the problem is clearly defined. All you have to do is stay with the problem much longer, and then you'll find the solution. It's what Einstein said. It's not that I'm smart. That's what Einstein is saying. It's not that I'm smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. So I think if people just stay with problems much longer, then they will find solutions for this, and they don't have to be crazy and think that the universe will speak the solutions into their heads, and they should just wake up and know the solution to high failure rates or the solution to death rates or whatever it is. People have to stay with problems longer.
I see. Okay. Okay. Speaking of YYeni now, what triggered you to go into the entrepreneur to actually become an entrepreneur, to go into the business world? Like from a very young age, like okay, when did you actually start getting an interest into the business world?
Okay, that's another long story.
Yeah, just
I go from there apparently. So grade 11, I go to Cyderlach. No, actually grade 10.
Yeah.
In grade 10, I think you were there. No, when I was grade 10, you were grade 11.
Yeah.
So I grade 9, you guys were grade 10.
Yeah.
You wrote national examination, you guys went. So that year, I taught geography, history, accounting, mathematics to the grade 9s and the grade 10s who were struggling that year.
Oh, you taught them at school? Okay.
So I used to teach them, going to Sabas class and these other classes and call them study time after school and I'll explain this stuff to them.
Yeah.
The following year, grade 10, I took it even much more serious and it became a habit. It was absolutely inspiring. The kids were amazed. Well, they appreciated that I cared for their work and helping them to actually get to pass. And we got 6 A's that year. We were the best geography subject that year.
Okay.
That was absolutely inspiring. Even the matrons were nice to me because I was helping their kids.
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen, they were absolutely nice. They were so nice to me. So that was inspiring. Parents, it was like you're giving hope to people who are hopeless. And so that was really nice. That I've always been chasing that feeling. That the reaction people give when you give them hope on a second chance.
Yeah.
And so went to Cyderlach. I was the head boy there. Instead of doing head boy for school, I did head boy. Because I was head boy, started the company. And instead of organizing events and doing stuff with the LRCs, we did those stuff with our company. And the money comes into our pocket and not in the school's coffer.
Really?
Yeah. So that, and I think one of the key things again during that time is, I don't know, I was just like the rest of the kids around that time, COVID-19, everyone was entrepreneurship, online business, entrepreneurship. So everyone was sort of crazy about making money and entrepreneurship. Education doesn't work and whatnot. So I was also into that. Then I was doing forex stuff. So then I saw the opportunity. One of the key things again there is that we got to the hostel to buy shares in our company, and then we were selling during school, in the nights in the hostel, and then we were 10 guys, so we will have suites in the classes, and by the time the lunch time comes, most of the kids in our class have finished their money because they already bought from that. So the school didn't like that. The hostel didn't like that. They even confiscated our stuff. But what happened is, we thought, okay, we were the top achievers of the school. So we thought, okay, let's help the school as the guys who are finishing the school's money with the suites. So we set up this list that we sent to the secretary's office. And then the learners will go during break time and go write their name, the topics they're struggling with, the subject, and then one of our guys will go explain and reach out to these kids during break or after school and explain these topics to them. The community loved that.
And you guys were being paid for that?
We were doing it for free.
Okay.
It was corporate social responsibility. It was corporate social responsibility. Wow. It was within the school money. So that sort of gave people a feeling that we were actually there for good, helping kids, helping them perform. They called us the UA boys. So that was the beginning of, I guess, my entrepreneurship journey. And that was an absolute, we made a lot of money, I must say. We made a lot of money. We printed the t-shirts for the schools, teachers, for the learners. We even proposed new ideas and they were carried out by the office. I was a head boy. So I used that influence to go to the principal and the teachers and sort of nudge them into doing it. It looks like the head boy is doing it, but it's actually the CEO of UA who's doing it. And then they pay UA, UA carries out. The LRC, I had an issue with the LRCs, so they were not inspiring. They were not doing anything. anything. They were not being driven because there was no incentives for them.
Oh.
So sort of leadership, but leadership there's no payment or anything like that. So they were not really doing it really that well. But us, we were doing it because we know we are directly compensated by these learners attending this event or buying these t-shirts or buying this. So the money was coming absolutely in our pockets, not into the school's coffers. So yeah. So then when I came to varsity the following year, we realized, okay, we are not at the school, we can't sell sweets, neither can we sell t-shirts and whatnot, because that's not going to do anything. And I always had this idea of, okay, it's around that grade 10 and grade 11 year, where what if we just get all the best performing learners in the country, they will be somewhere in Windhoek and form up a tutoring school, so that then I will of course be managing them and people will pay and then I pay them salaries. So that's what I thought. But then when I came here, I thought of again the same thing I was doing in chess, teaching those grade 10 learners who are stuck. What if we could give these learners access to any teacher across the country, such that even if your teacher is bad at your school, you can access another teacher. So because I was doing computer science, I already knew, okay, the solution to that is a platform. An online platform that will allow teachers to have classrooms and learners to be able to access this. But another thing as well, during COVID-19, our math teacher, the principal back then, said that we have taught us on WhatsApp. He uploaded videos on WhatsApp, and so we were able to go watch these videos and see. And on Saturdays we'll go back to the chats and watch the videos, 3-minute, 5-minute videos. So I thought I already knew that this was gonna work because we ourselves were using and watching these videos. So then we just swipe and reply to that video and say, please explain it. I wanted to take that same experience on WhatsApp and take it on our platform, and then learners can access this. So then we sell this to the schools, we sell this to the teachers, we sell this to students who are struggling so they can teach topics and learners can get access to them. So yeah, that's when we started. That's where Teach Learn came through. We've been doing it for 18 months now. Trying to reach out to the schools to make them buy. They did not buy. They are not settling invoices. They are not inspired. They are not inspired just by a video sharing platform or whatnot and content. They are not inspired. E-learning is absolutely uninspiring. It's demoralizing. One of the guys who used to work with us said, e-learning, the last e-learning gives him what? Depression. Yeah, so the structure and the way e-learning is structured is not interactive, it's just videos, go watch the videos, go play the videos, it's not inspiring. So it didn't really even trigger the teachers or the schools to buy. And that's a key thing again. It's difficult to build things people want, and if people are not paying for it, you didn't build something people want because they're not desperate for it. So it's more that you always figure that out and you must understand. I'm sitting on the perspective of software business, but I'm not sure. Okay, I don't have a successful software business yet. Anything successful, so I don't probably have the right to advise people on how to build successful software businesses because I'm still on the way of building that. But I probably think I might be the most relevant and upright man to give this advice in this country. In this country, because everyone is just bullshitting the kids around.
Really?
Yeah. I'm creating. This is for work. I'm creating this app for ride or taxi. What they are not innovative. They're just trying to copy and paste what sort of had worked around
what
here.
is already like in other countries.
In other countries, I'm gonna build Uber for Namibia. I'm gonna build this delivery app for Namibia. I'm gonna build this for Namibia for students or what. It's not inspiring. It's not innovative. It doesn't move from 0 to 1, and it's not engaging the real problem. And people will never really pay for that. And so, moving back to what I wanted to say. You need, when you're building a software product, it's important that you actually engage the users first and following an approach called the MUM test. So you ask questions. It's called the MUM test because not even if you ask these questions, not even your mom will be able to lie to you. He will give you the right true answer. So, but if you come with an app, oh mommy, I'm trying to build this app. It will do this. Your mom will say, oh, that's so nice, my dear. Oh, you're so smart. But that's dumb. You end up saying that your mom won't even use that app. The questions you should ask should follow what is called the MUM test principles, to ask the experiences of people in their daily lives and not even tell them about the app you're building. And so then you will be able to see their experiences and see the actions they've taken and see if they actually be able to want to pay for it. But that's the first step. The next step is to actually build it out, prototype, build as fast as possible. Some things are unnecessary, like you're building an app. Why are you even spending time on building a forget password link? That's like a waste of time. That's not gonna add value to the app. What you need to do is build it out in as simple as possible and give it out to the users so that they can test it out. And if they are really serious about it and pushing for it, and they will use it.
Cumulations, yeah.
And if they use it and they are seeing they are forgetting their passwords and they are really desperate to use this app, which is where you wanna go, then they will even call you and say, please build a forget password link so I can forget my password.
Oh.
Those are the kind of stuff that's the kind of approach we will take. Okay? You're not trying to build something pretty and beautiful. You're trying to build something that sort of helps solve this problem and engages it in the first end. As long as it's just a simple feature first end, people will tell you, okay, add this feature more, add this feature. The data will tell you that it's probably a good idea to add this, to add this, to add this. Then to come up with your own
with complaints and all that.
Complaints and all of that, and suggestions, and they will lose it because they're desperate for it.
Yeah.
If they're not desperate for it, you try again, build something more, add more features, change stuff, engage the users to see what they need to build. Well, I think I was repeating myself. There's something I missed there. Yeah, the schools were not paying.
Oh, yeah.
The product wasn't inspiring. And so
That's Teach Learn now.
That's Teach Learn.
Okay.
And then we pivoted to YYeniChat because we were training these teachers on how to use the online platform.
Yes.
And we had a sample of just something I was trying out with AI, and I put it inside in the classroom. So one of the activities the teachers can do is put up an AI, and they were absolutely blown away by it. They was absolutely excited, and that's the thing they wanted. And so we pivoted from the e-learning stuff. We went to YYeniChat to now help teachers be able to teach learners, all their 45 learners in a single interaction, instead of, because it's difficult for a teacher to teach a classroom of 45 learners and personalize the education to them.
Okay.
It's absolutely difficult. It's impossible. That's why learners don't pass. The only learners who pass in a classroom like that, they are the 20% of the learners. These are usually the smart guys who perform year after year after year, because in reality the classroom is actually personalized for them. The teacher is sitting there in front and it's just engaging the smart guys up here because they're the ones asking questions, interacting with them. Those are the guys who usually pass.
Yeah, usually pass.
So it doesn't matter whether you give those guys one-on-one anymore, they will still perform the same way. But the guys outside, on the benches, behind the bed sitters, those guys won't perform really good because the education is personalized for them. In order for education to be successful, it needs to be personalized. And so AI gives us the opportunity to be able to do this. Because now on our app, teachers are able to instruct the app, here's a specific objective, here is the notes and the resources you should use, teach my learners these things. And the other side, the learners log in and they go into this mathematics classroom of Central Secondary School, and then they can ask questions under factorization, and the app will explain stuff to them. The app will ask them questions first. What do you think is the answer? Or what is your opinion on this? And then the learner gives their answers, and the AI sort of analyzes where the knowledge gap of the learner is and responds in that context. It's not just giving the learners questions. So it's with answers. On ChatGPT, you ask a question and it gives you an answer.
Yeah.
And that's not conducive for learning.
Okay.
So you need to first be able to ask a good tutor will, if you are teaching your sibling 10-year-old, teaching him addition.
Yeah.
When he asks you, Sunday, how do I do 1 plus 1 or 3 plus 3? You don't just give him the answer.
The answer, yeah.
You have to ask him, okay, please try it out yourself. How will you do it? That's what YYeniChat does. So instead of giving the learners questions, you first have to ask them to try them out. Once you try it out, then you see where their knowledge gap is, where they are lacking, and then you answer and give them. Your next answer should be considering that into the context. That's sort of the idea that we are building into YYeniChat. Now that doesn't work on ChatGPT because ChatGPT is not built for that. ChatGPT is built for general purpose productivity. It's a productivity tool, and we are specifically a learning support tool to help learners who just need to study on their own or with their parents, or a school teacher who's trying to teach a classroom with 45 learners. Because the AI will do that across all the 45 learners and generate a report. Johannes is doing this, Ezekiel needs this, this is doing this, help him with this way, this way, this way. Really? So the teacher is this. So it's basically a teacher assistant to the teacher. I think I said a lot. I wonder if people heard what I was saying.
Yeah, but then with the end, so that means that every learner has to have access to a smartphone or to a computer to be able to use YYeniChat.
That's correct. The smartphone. They don't need to have access. That's the right word to use. They need to have access, but they don't necessarily have to own a smartphone. But what you see is that most of the learners have access to a smartphone, either a sibling, a neighbor, a mother, a father, that they can always have access to. And at least a learner needs at least maybe 3 days on YYeniChat of 2 hours to just be able to brush up and catch up on those lessons or topics that they're busy with.
Okay, so how many schools are you guys working with so far? Or how did you guys carry it? Experimented.
So with YYeni.com, on e-learning platform, we've been working with 13 schools. With YYeniChat, we're launching it actually today. We've been working with it on testing phase with 10 learners across Windhoek from Windhoek High School, some learners from some schools in Achamise. So now we are making the app available only again to 100 more people. So the people go on the website and then they fill in a form and then we add their email onto Play Store and then they will be able to find the app on Play Store. So if you don't have your email, or if you don't add your email on Play Store, you won't be able to find the app. It's only available to internal testers.
To internal testers, okay.
So yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, so what really triggered? Why are you so passionate of finding solutions for the educational sector? Like,
I think it is absolutely important. It's a thing that must happen. We cannot continue going on this way. People have been complaining for over 8 years now. Education is education crisis, education BS, but they're not doing anything. They're just talking, education. No, education system should change. If you go to conferences, you'll find these kids. Education should change. This should do this. Some teachers don't do this. They just talk a lot of nonsense, so they're not doing anything. They're not engaging the problem. That's number one. Number two, you are only as smart as the 5 people around you. Unfortunately, the education system is not good, and what you'll see is across even your friends. People are not really smart, and that's a problem. Because then they are not challenging each other. And then we are not creating stuff. There's a concept of Bloom's taxonomy for the cognitive domain is what guides our platform. Someone needs to be not just to remember stuff, he needs to understand stuff, to apply, to analyze, to evaluate, and to create. So if creating is the highest level of achievement, or someone who is able to create stuff is an expert. Now you need people to be at that level. Now most of the people in our PS are just understand, if they are lucky. They just understand stuff or actually remember stuff. So they just remember stuff. Now if all of us are just remembering stuff and we can't create stuff at there, Namibia will never change, neither will Africa, neither the world. Okay, some countries will change because some peers are already at this level where they are able to create stuff. So that's the 6th level of the Bloom's taxonomy of the cognitive domain. It determines whether someone is an expert. Now most of our friends and our peers are not at that level. That means all of us will never be able to reach there because we are not being challenged. And that's why I like staying with smart people. Because they will be able to challenge you. That whole idea has been existing for a long time. The idea is you are the sum of the people you are around with. Now if we do not change the sum of the people our kids are around with by building something that helps them actually get smart, we will never get anywhere as a country. We can just be talking, okay, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when we are the grown-ups in the society, when we are the workers, we are the CEOs of these companies and the presidents of these countries and the ministers, it's just dumb ministers. We will be dumb ministers.
Dumb ministers, they just remember stuff but don't understand.
Can't create stuff. So then we'll never really change. The cycle will continue repeating itself. It's across all African countries, across most countries around the world. So what this then gives us is the opportunity to make every kid around us smart. Not dependent on whether the teacher is good or interested or not, or whether the textbook is clearly explaining stuff, but this AI can be able to make each child smart. By understanding the learner, asking him questions, helping this learner formulate hypotheses and testing these hypotheses. And these learners will be able to think much better. They will be able to move up this hierarchy. Not just remembering stuff, but now they understand stuff. They apply stuff, they're able to analyze stuff, they're able to evaluate stuff, then eventually create stuff. So if they're at this level, and all of our peers are at this level, at least 3 of them, around 3 of your friends are at that level, then we are able to prosper as a country. Now that's the second thing. The next thing is, education is a clearly defined problem. Like I said earlier on, the situation with my science is that the problems were clearly defined. You don't know the answer, we don't have the solution yet. But as long as the problem is clearly defined, if you stay longer with the problem and iterate and try and find solutions for that, then you'll be able to find a solution. Now people have just been talking. They haven't really been engaging the problem. The real problem in education is not personalized. It's one teacher for 45 learners. Listeners will never really be able to get up to that level of being able to create stuff or even evaluate stuff. They will only be at the level of remembering stuff. But we have a technology that can take them to the level of creating stuff. So the problem is clearly defined. You need to find something that will allow teachers to personalize education for the 45 learners in a classroom. Now the AI technology revolution, as I said 18 months ago, can do that for us. And so we have a clearly defined problem. There's huge economic potential for the man who solves this problem. The education market will be 10.45 trillion in Africa in the next 7 years. Some of that money will be spent on YYeniChat if we really build a platform that solves this problem. So it's an absolute opportunity. It's like the problem is there. There's a technology now that can solve that. Why are you not doing it? So it's all you have to do is build something that solves that problem. There's a technology that can actually help us do that. And that's what we are doing now. And so that's the second part. Next part is what else could I be doing? I think, like I said yesterday to some of the guys, it's absolutely immoral, it's unethical, it's ungodly if I do not do something that's important, that's going to impact the world. It just doesn't make sense that I think I'm the luckiest man on the planet. Everything has been happening so well for me. Everything just happens. I don't know. Everything just happens for me.
Everything just goes well.
Everything just goes well.
Okay.
So therefore, I have a godly responsibility to give back that favor to the world because God has given it to me. And so the best way I think I can do that is be able to impact everyone's child in this world, in this Africa, for example, in this country, for example. The same thing I did for the learners at church in grade 10. We can multiply that across all the learners in this country. And it's crazy that the problem is clearly defined. There's a technology that can help us solve this problem. And then I'm here knowing these things. I'm probably the only person who knows this. It seems to be the case. But I don't know what the hell is wrong with people that they can't see this opportunity. And so I'm here knowing these facts. And I'm not doing anything about it. With all these blessings that God has given me. Like everything just works for me. Like it's funny that everywhere I go, I always had some kind of an office. When I was in St. Teresa, I had the science lab.
It was only Vitalis who had access to the computer lab.
When I went to St. Teresa, it was the same story. I had access to the workshop, the computer lab. It was like my place, my room. And I just got access to resources that teachers didn't even have access to. Everything was just happening for me. And so I think all these things has been leading up to me to work on problems like this. So I absolutely have to work on something that's much more serious, that's much more difficult, other than going to school and studying, get a degree, whatnot. Like that's not fulfilling enough for me. It's not efficient. There's a clearly defined problem, clearly a possible solution. Who else is gonna do it if not me?
Not you.
So that's the way I think about it. That's why I'm doing it. Plus, well, there's huge economic potential. There's so much money. There's so much money to be made. It's not that I apparently care about the money, but it's just gonna happen.
It's just gonna happen.
It's like money. The money is just lying around there. I just have to go and plug it. It seems to be the case because no one is doing it.
Okay.
So yeah.
I see. Okay, now, Vitalis. Okay, you are as well a student. Oh, not at the moment.
That's a controversial question.
Okay. Okay, but what do you think must happen? Like, because for one, especially for young people in Namibia, for one just to get a purpose in life, for you to actually have a purpose in life, or not just going to school, or not just following like the normal road that we usually take, or something like that.
Say that again.
How
do young people get purpose?
How can you get a purpose, or how can you influence other young people to have a purpose, or to have just something to do to actually give back to the community, or just something productive to do rather than going to school alone or something like that?
First of all, no NGOs. Right. I think the idea of these NGO kids are kids who are desperate to be LRCs at school. They're just chasing titles. No, the deputy NGO, I was an LRC. I'm the director at this NGO and whatnot. But that's let me not digress. To come back to that. Okay, first of all, I might not have the right now at this stage to give people this advice. But what I think from my short life so far is that first they need to discover what it is that they love. To be able to discover what it is that you love, you need to be able to participate, get involved in a lot of activities. This should be happening at an early age. So when you're in high school or when you're in primary school, you should participate. Some teachers will tell you, no, don't do debate, don't do this, don't do science, so you're not smart, you're not even in natural science, you can't speak good English. These teachers are breaking down these kids. They need to allow these kids to participate, to get involved. Because for me, when I did science fair first in grade 7, I was inspired when I participated and I realized what was happening in there. It was inspiring. So when I came back, I was able to push that. I saw that that's where I want to go. So first there needs to be participation. Participation, getting involved, because that will help them discover what it is that they love. Once they discover what it is that they love, they need to be able to take much risk. But I think they will only get the confidence to take the risks if they actually trust themselves. Now to trust yourself, you need to participate and get involved and face the challenges often as possible. You face this challenge, you fail. Next time you face it, you win. Next time you face it, you win. Next time you face it, you win. That builds confidence within yourself. So I was able to build my confidence from the science competition. It was always competing with other learners, other smart kids from other schools, other countries. So because I was able to do this, repeat it, I was challenged, but I always came through, and I always won. I got this crazy confidence in myself. So that's very important, because that confidence will allow you to act on your dreams and your passion. It will give you the confidence and the boldness to act, which people won't get, because you won't get it because when you come to us and I have this idea, I want to work on it, but you're sort of afraid. What if it doesn't work out? I don't even think of what if it doesn't work out, because I remember the thing I told you. I know from my participation, from my activities from early on, if I stay longer with the problem, I will find the solution to it. So that's a mentality that's created by participating. It's a confidence that I built up by participating. So I think people need to participate and get involved in stuff, and they will find out what it is that they love. If they find out what it is that they love, they need to hone into that, to just walk into that direction and be able to. They will already have the confidence. Now they just need to act and take risks on it. And when you really think about it, is when you are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, you don't have a kid, you don't have a family, what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. If you get a kid, 27, 28, now you are taking risks for both you, your child, and your family. But right now you can take a risk for yourself alone. So it's absolutely the best time to take the risks now. And absolutely, while we are here, we are in an AI revolution. The stage where we are is a platform shift in technology. It's like in 1989 when the PC or the server was invented, and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were pioneering this. It's like in the early 2000s when the internet was invented, when the Mark Zuckerberg, the guys of YouTube, the Google guys were working on this. This how we have this new AI and the Amazon guys. That's 2009 to the early 2000s. It's like 2008 when Steve Jobs released the iPhone. The iPhone was the new computing platform. Now we have the same revolution in AI. It's the same shift and change in technology. It's a whole new platform, and we have the same opportunity, just like Steve Jobs had in 1989, just like the guys of Amazon and the guys of Google had in the early 2000s and Facebook had in 2000, just like the guys of Uber, Airbnb built their apps after 2008 when the iPhone was released. We have the same chance to build on a new platform and build the next era of businesses that build on this platform. So it's absolutely crazy and stupid not to get involved in this, because this will happen maybe in the next 15 years from now. So we'll never have a chance like this. And I have the confidence to take this risk because I'm confident in myself and my abilities, and that I understand the innovation process. It's an idea of iteration, persistence. You stay longer with the problem, you will find the solution. So people need to be real with themselves. They need to lie to themselves.
That's very true. But then, what do you think are the most important skills that we as young people we should learn today, or we should take advantage of, like right now at this era?
Right now, you have nothing to lose, like I said. But some people might actually have when you look at it, because they might be the only siblings in the house. Then they have to work, they have to get a job, they have to work. But I think again, it just comes to risks. It just comes to. So you think now that you can't take risks now because you have to go get a job and get a job. When are you going to do it? Because after that you're going to get kids, after that you're going to get a family. When are you going to get a chance to jump into this? So not only just jumping into the AI revolution, but it will be the smart thing to do, because this is going to impact all platforms, all kinds of work, all industries will be impacted by this. So it's good to get at least think around, play around with it. So play around with it. So that's what I could give on that front. Play around with it. What skills do you need now? You need to be able to play around with AIs, prompt engineering. That's what when you think of it in hindsight, that's what the future will be. And these kids who are using YYeniChat is basically prompt engineering what they're doing. They're prompting and learning to ask better questions. In the future, that's what will be happening. It's just asking the AI to do this. The best way you explain it, the best way you can ask, you get the best results. What can young people learn now? If you're in varsity, let me not say you are late already. Because you need the confidence that I'm talking about that should be built up in your primary and your secondary school years. What you can do now, I wonder, what can they do now?
But what skills can one learn?
This is what you can do. Find smart people and work with them. Find people who are smarter than you and go work with them. Stick to those guys who are smarter than you. Stick to the nerds in your class. But the nerds in Namibia are so dumb sometimes. I don't understand this case. I don't even know if they are nuts or whatever the case is. But find people who are smarter than you and work with them. At least when they start companies, you can be on the plane with them. But be competent. Because I had people who were with me and then I kicked them off. So don't just be clinging to these guys, but be able to bring something on the table.
On the table.
On the
as
table.
well, yeah.
So that's absolutely important. What you can do now is find these guys and work with them. I think that's my advice on that case. Because again, if you tell them go read books, they're just gonna be reading books forever. They go read this book, Think and Grow Rich, how to do this. They'll just go read this book, and then they think they are empowered and enlightened, like these forex guys. They think they're empowered and enlightened, and they can see the future. They think they'll make shit. But what Steve Jobs said is, you need to be a thinker, doer. These are the people who change the world, not just people who think.
Yeah.
But you need to think and implement and do stuff. Now people will just go read books and whatever, and they will be talking on their status, posting quotes and whatnot, and they think they can change the world. You need to do stuff to change the world.
That's very true.
So then maybe they can learn a skill.
Yeah.
Learn a skill. Do and do
A
whatever.
soft skill or just skill?
Well, soft skill, hard skill, whatever skill you take up, but whatever you do it with excellence. Put in a lot of effort, be the best at that job. Put in that effort to be the best in that specific job.
Yeah.
So if you're a security guard, be a security guard with a difference. Put in work. If you're working at a teller, a checkers, put in work. Don't just be another teller. Put in work, because that's what else will you be doing?
Yeah.
If you're not putting in the work, you just want to be there in every teller and you expect your life and the world to change and to get a promotion or whatever it is. People will sense this energy and this drive that you have. Put in the work. Whatever it is that you're doing, put in the work.
Okay. What do you think you are good at? You yourself. What are you good at? Okay, I know you are good at a lot of things, but then what is that specific thing that you think you are good at right now that you can do? Like, yeah, if you give me this I'll be able to execute, or this I'm good at this, or the skill that you're actually good at.
I think the skill I'm good at is stubborn, persistent. I'm determined. I'm absolutely confident in myself that if you give me a problem, and if I care about the problem and I'm passionate about it, I can be absolutely persistent and work on it. I think that's the most important skill I have. Not that I'm able to, because when I build this app, this platform, there were so many errors I was experiencing. I could say I was a good software developer or whatnot, but I didn't. When I was getting these errors, I didn't solve them because I was a good developer. I solved them because I was persistent. I could have given up at this stage. Because there were several times I actually thought, okay, sure, this is not gonna work. But then because I was persistent and I was willing to try again and try again and try again, I actually found the solution to it. So the most important skill I have is I think it's determination and stubbornness to stick to a problem and not give up.
Not give up. Sit until the end.
Yeah. So I think that's the most important skill I have.
Okay.
If you're asking in terms of freelancing, I don't do that. I don't have time to do that. I have a lot of work to do. I have a world to change. I don't have time to create, to engage people in their businesses and in their lives. I have a serious problem that's defined. You need to be able to help teachers personalize education for their 45 learners. There's a technology that can help us do that. I'm focusing on that. I think you should spend, the kids these university students should spend their own money.
Yeah.
They always say, no, there's no money, but they have NASA.
Yeah. That's
So I think again, if you are really passionate and serious about what you want to work on, use your own money. Whether you want to buy a course or whatever it is, you want to build a company, you want to try out a new idea, use your own money. Instead of trying to borrow money, what complaining, funding, or go win a pitching competition, spend your own money on your own dreams. And that's absolutely important. That's what I spend now. I'm lucky. I get paid to go to school. So some people go to varsity, or what I don't know analogy yesterday I was using. Some people go borrow money to go to school. Some people have to pay the school to go to school. For me, I have to be paid to go to school. So I use the money I get paid for, and I invest it in my dreams. So I think I'm also lucky in that sense. It's just crazy. That's why I'm saying I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. Because things are just happening for me. So while others have to go take
take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think I have to. God will be angry with me if I don't take advantage of it. So I think people to spend their own money. I build this company with my own money. I use my own money to be able to buy these computers, buy these servers, and work on this stuff. I'm not waiting and saying, no, I need money from this. I need to go win this competition to get money. Or my uncles are not helping me. They're not supporting me. They're not supporting my dreams. Like, what the hell? If you're not even supporting your own dreams, who's gonna support your dreams?
That's very true. Because I even remember most of the business people that I actually meet, when you ask them, how did you start your business? No, I used my NASAP money. And then you have nowadays, you get your NASAP money, you go and buy clothes, shoes, and branded things and all that. It's absolute nonsense.
That's correct. And then you just need to start.
Yeah.
You just need to start, but use your own money.
Exactly.
Use your own money.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vitalis. Anything else? Any advice that you would like to give out there to any person maybe who wants to venture into the entrepreneurship, or maybe like you, or a personal advice that you would want to give me personally?
I think I would rather give you the personal one.
Okay.
I think you are doing an amazing job.
Okay. Bad?
There's no bad.
Okay.
There's absolutely no bad.
Okay.
The bad can be the NGOs.
Okay.
The bad can be the NGOs. But I guess it's reasonable for you to engage into NGO stuff, to engage in conferences and stuff, because it gives you much more opportunity, you particularly, because you don't have school.
Yeah.
And these other stuff to focus on, and people can sort of see your effort and the what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think stick to that. Move away from trying to provide things for free and doing NGO stuff. Work on yourself, increase your skills, be the best podcaster or whatever, videographer or editor, what you can ever be,
Okay.
and be genuinely interested in other people, which I think you are. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense, because I think it was last month when I did my Wheel of Life, and I realized I spent like 50% of my time on the NGO, on the social work. Kind of just
My mentor also made me do Wheel of Life. I think get yourself a mentor, but there are a lot of fake mentors.
That's the thing now.
Get people who are worth your time. But again, if you are not worth it, you don't know who's worth your time.
That's the thing.
You have to be competent to be able to say, this guy is. You can see the bullshit through people. So even if he claims to be a mentor, you can already, if you are competent enough, you'll be able to see this. So get people who are worth your time or much higher, but to be able to convince these guys, you need to be genuine and real to yourself and be engaging in a real situation instead of just being a fake person. Engaging fake problems, or you'll see the people who post on LinkedIn. This milestone, this. You can sort of sense the fakeness in this. People can see that you are genuinely interested in something, genuinely interested in a problem, and go to guys in that field who are already working on that, and be persistent and reach out to them. Be persistent.
But how do you get yourself a mentor? Do you have to pay the person? How do you get? Can you have a mentor, somebody, an online mentor, or do you need to get a physical mentor?
I had an online mentor since forever, because I couldn't find people around me who are worth mentoring me.
So was it Simon Sinek?
No, Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay.
I think that guy is the most smartest smartest guy on the planet.
Yeah, he's very.
I listened to a lot of his stuff, and I got a mentor in person. You're not gonna pay them. Like I said, if you're genuinely interested in the problem, people see this and sense this. They'll want to help you out. The people who want to help will sense I think people will sense, and they want to help you.
Yeah, the willingness that you want to grow, and then you want to create something out of yourself.
Yeah, and because these people are much on a higher level.
Yeah.
They'll be able to. They can see the bullshit through the people. Okay, it's just like how you can see a kid playing, then you can sort of already think in the head what is going on in this kid's mind.
Yeah.
It's the same person. When the person is on that level,
because the person has already lived they've already been on the stage that you are.
That's correct. So they can see this. So you can't really lie to them,
Yeah.
and they will know whether it's a waste of their time and whether they will take you serious or not.
That's very true.
And I think you'll get them at the events if you go, like what you usually do. But again, what you will see is these mentors are not the ones who are there, most of them on stage, trying to bullshit people and act like that. They usually leave probably first.
Oh, really?
They are the ones who are probably invited to these events to come speak. But and they are very rare. Most of the people who are invited are not the real stuff.
Yeah, the real. Yeah.
It's maybe just usually one person there. So these are the guys who are they are busy people. They're doing stuff in the real world. They're not there on LinkedIn posting this.
Yeah.
They're engaging in real world problems.
Okay.
I think there was something you asked that I didn't answer. So if I remember it, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Vitalis, actually. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy person.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
My
much.
link to YYeniChat will be in this video.
Yeah, what should actually, like, how can schools or anybody, like educators and all that do you only work with schools or any educators or?
So anyone who wants to teach almost anything, but particularly we would like to focus on schools.
Yeah.
So, or a parent whose learner is just struggling, the parent reaches out to us which downloads the app, and then all the learners get, everyone who downloads the app gets at least 100 free messages a day to interact with the app. So every day you get these free messages. So the people can just download the app, reach out to us, and then they can use it. If the messages are not enough, they finish the messages and they can buy messages. But just clicking one of the buttons on the app, they will be able to buy messages.
Yes.
The app is YYeniChat.
YYeniChat.
Yeah.
Like you guys have a website, or you guys have a...
Yeah, you will have it in the link in the description, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much.
Alright.